What up, y'all? It's the homie Dame, and I have an anime to talk about with y'all. Is that alright? Is everybody on board with that? Did y'all get your parents to sign the permission slip? Because believe it or not, we're talking about an isekai, and not just an isekai, a good isekai. I know, hearing about that is more shocking than hearing about someone who still pays for cable TV, but it's true. The anime is called Kamikatsu, Working for God in a Godless World. I don't know how I ended up watching this show, to be honest. I think I was drunk coming home from Soundbar in Chicago and wanted to find something to watch until my friends came back with the late night birria tacos. I picked out Kamikatsu, and one of the first scenes in the show is this. So as you can imagine, drunken Damian was very engaged right from the get-go. But I'm sure a lot of y'all haven't even heard of this show, so let me give y'all the premise. Kamikatsu follows Yukito Urabe, the son of a shady cult leader who is killed during one of their weird rituals. He finds himself isekai'd into your generic fantasy world, except it's a lot less escapist fantasy and a lot more Game of Thrones peasant. In this new world, there are no concept of gods or religion, and there isn't any magic or even supernatural things in general. Instead, this society that Yukito finds himself in is a highly controlled one where people don't reproduce and have set dates for when they are to ceremoniously end their lives instead of dying natural deaths. Yukito ends up in a village of outcasts that have rejected this grim society, and because of that, the government cracks down on them. Who comes to Yukito's rescue? None other than the goddess Mitama that his father's cult worshipped. Except in this new world devoid of religion, Mitama is now basically powerless because she doesn't have any followers. And so, Yukito and his buddies embark on a quest to bring religion to this godless world in order to gain followers for Mitama. Shenanigans ensue. And when I say shenanigans, I really mean shenanigans, because I can guarantee you won't predict where the plot of this anime goes. Like for real, right now, make a prediction in your head on what this show is about. Maybe picture a scene or something that you can see happening. It's an isekai, right? It shouldn't be too hard to guess what happens. Now, let me show you an actual scene from the show. From the premise that I gave you, you might have thought that this would be similar to Reincarnated as a Slime. You know, gathering followers, building a nation based on knowledge from modern Japan. And yeah, actually Kamikatsu has a lot of stuff like that. Yukito uses his knowledge and Mitama's power to create a pretty modern society in his village, complete with water and electricity. So yeah, the anime is kind of like that, but it also has stuff like this, which, you know, plenty of isekais have stuff like that too, so it's not that crazy. But when was the last time you saw an isekai with an idol concert arc? Oh wait, you said Oshinoko? I guess that doesn't count as an isekai, come on. Here's the thing though, Kamikatsu is really funny. Like actually funny. Not dumb anime funny where the joke is like a girl slaps a guy because she thinks he's looking at her titties or something. Although stuff like that does happen in this show. It's funny as in it's witty, slapstick, self-aware, and ridiculous. Also, it has some of the best comedic timing I've seen in one of these Japanese cartoons in a minute. One of the reoccurring jokes in this show is the intentionally bad animation. Or, well, at least I think it's intentional. You may have seen this majestic beast going viral around when the show started, and yeah, that is legitimately something in this show. This thing that looks like an AI-generated appa is something deliberately put into the show and proudly shoved into our faces for multiple scenes. And the way I know it's intentional is that a few episodes later we get this scene. Yep. That's a character's face pasted on top of real-life stock footage of a guy riding a tractor. And yes, this shot is also used multiple times in the show. But look, the humor mostly comes from clever writing and also from the great cast of characters. There's of course the main character Yukito, who is best described as a fusion of Kiyotaka from Classroom of the Elite and Senku from Dr. Stone, and you just drop him into a sitcom. That's Yukito. He's hilariously cunning and manipulative while also being blunt and deadpan with his dialogue. Think Kazuma from Konosuba, but if he tried to hide his asshole tendencies. And then you also have the goddess herself, Mitama. All I gotta say about her is step aside, Aqua, we have a new useless blue goddess. I wanna say that Mitama is arguably the best part of the show. She's like the butt of every joke, and she's constantly being abused for everyone, including the audience's amusement. And she also has the best theme music, which is also the ending credits song for the show. 土下座しながら従ったよ。お願いだ、だけにこの通りお願いだ、だけに Then you got a whole bunch of other fun characters, like the obligatory big titty girl who loves the MC for no reason. Except in this show, she's like really in love. Like, it's low-key unhealthy. You got the One-san character who's like all flirty and ara-ara, except in this show, she's got a secret phobia for anything sex-related. There's the perverted best friend character who's always hitting on girls, except in this show, he's less harmless pervert and more lock this dude up in Alcatraz. There's also a powerful knight who of course gets turned into a big titty hot girl. There's this Gyaru lady who leads a sex cult, and a weird android lady. I know, such an exciting cast. It's like I'm looking at a Star Wars movie with this lineup of beloved iconic characters. But let me backtrack a little bit because I really want to hit home the fact that this show is unpredictable. And not just with the humor like I was talking about before, the actual real plot will go in directions that I guarantee you won't expect. And it all ends up being surprisingly well done and compelling in my opinion. I won't spoil it here obviously, but let's just say that there's more than meets the eye to the world that Yukito has been isekai'd to. Which, you know, maybe you'd be able to figure that out, but what happens after that is wild. It takes the show in a completely different direction almost. Now, I don't know much about the source material that this is based on. I think it's based on a manga, not a light novel or anything. But because I haven't read any of that, I'm curious to see where the show would end up going if it ever got a second season. There's always the risk of shows like this devolving into generic battle shonen territory, but who knows? Going off the first season, even if it does go in that direction, I'm sure they'll find a way to make it fun. But yeah, that's all I want to say about Kamikatsu. I thought it was surprisingly enjoyable, and it was low-key one of my most anticipated shows to watch week to week. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to talk about it with y'all for a bit. If you haven't seen the show already, I definitely recommend it if you want a fun Konosuba-esque experience, except it's like more mean-spirited and somehow more degenerate. I don't know, it was fun for me, so take that how you will. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe, and consider donating to Patreon for full-length uncut reactions. Otherwise, that's the video. Peace. Oh yeah, Kana Hanazawa of all people voices the big titty love interest girl. I won't say that that's the only reason I picked out this show to watch, but let's be honest, that's the only reason.